Devil's Den Hockey. Today we are back and we are going over every single playoff game from last night. Now, again, I was at work. I didn't get a chance to watch some of these games, which is why we're going after them as of right now. We're going to go over them. We're going to go over who scored, who had the advantage, all that kind of stuff. So, just as a review, we're going to be going over the Philly-Pittsburgh game, in which Philly is winning 1-0 in that series. We're going over the Ottawa-Carolina game, in which Carolina is up 1-0 in that series. We're going over the Minnesota-Dallas game, in which Minnesota is up 1-0. And the Anaheim-Edmonton game, in which that series just started last night. So we're going to be able to go over game 1 tonight. So, first and foremost, let's go over the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, Philadelphia is up 1-0 in this series. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's not looking good for Pittsburgh. The Philadelphia Flyers defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-0 in Game 2. So Philly is now officially up 2-0 in the series. Now here's the thing. 3-0 is not a good look. 3-0 is not a good look. The Pittsburgh Penguins have scored 2 goals in 2 games. They're averaging 1 goal per game. This is a problem for Pittsburgh because Philly is coming out and going, yes, we are going to score, 4 goals a game on you. And if you have no way to come back to this, you're screwed. That really is what it is. So first of all, let's take a look at the first period. So first period, no one really scores, but the shots are 5-2 for Philadelphia. So Pittsburgh had 2 shots in the entirety of the period. Now, if you guys remember, I said Pittsburgh in 7 or something like that. I check out my notes right here. I said Pittsburgh in 7. So, Philadelphia is up 2-0. That doesn't mean Pittsburgh is gone and down and out, but they lose another game, they might be screwed. So first period, again, Philadelphia has 5 shots on net, Pittsburgh has 2. So not a great start for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Second period, however, shots end up being 13-12 in favor of Philly. Now, this ends up evening things up. At this point, Philadelphia has 18 shots on net. Pittsburgh has 14. 18-14, still a little bit of a difference, but overall, not terrible. Now, here's the thing, okay? The second period is where Philadelphia starts to score. So Porter Martone, who scored in Game 1, he ends up scoring his second goal of the series, assisted by Konechny and Dvorak. It ends up being a backhand shot, and Pittsburgh is up 1-0. Now, Philadelphia is up 1-0. I'm an idiot. This is why I can't speak the English language. Later on in the second period, Pittsburgh Penguins end up getting a power play, and by some stroke of genius, the Philadelphia Flyers managed to score a short-handed goal by Garnett Hathaway, assisted by Owen Tippett. Owen Tippett, point-per-game player in the playoffs. You love to see it. You love to see young guys who end up being able to be developed into guys that actually show up during the playoffs. You want to see your young guys not only develop in the regular season, but also contribute in the playoffs when it's time to shine. Now, here's the thing. I want to bring this out. This game got super chippy. This game was an absolute war. And how do we know that? Let's look at the penalty minutes. The Pittsburgh Penguins had 52 penalty minutes in a single game. The Philadelphia Flyers, they had 30 penalty minutes. This game, there were more penalties than there were minutes in the hockey game. Just sit with that for a second, okay? This was a war. These two teams are going at it non-fucking stop, okay? That really is what it is. Now, let's take a look at the third period. Third period, shots on goal are 6 for Philadelphia and 13 for Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh ends up outshooting the Philadelphia Flyers overall in the game 27-24. So it's not like Pittsburgh didn't have opportunities to score, but you know what? Kudos to, who's the Philly goaltender here? I've got him right here. Kudos to Vladar. Kudos to Vladar for shutting the door on Pittsburgh. Again, that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, I understand that these guys are basically in their geriatric stage in the NHL, but Malkin, Crosby are still threats. Rust is still a threat. Like, these are not like bottom tier guys that you've got on this team. You have arguably one of the greatest duos in NHL history in Malkin and Crosby. They're still there. They're still getting points. Crosby is still a point per game player, and like, you're shutting the door. So you know what? Kudos to Vladar. And then we go to the third period here. Third period, it's Luke Glendening, ex-New Jersey Devil, baby. Luke Glendening gets the empty netter, assisted by Couturier and Hathaway, and Philly wins 3-0. This game was brutal, just looking at this. This is crazy. Notable stat to point out here. Philadelphia had 48 hits, Pittsburgh had 32, Philadelphia had 23 blocked shots. So Pittsburgh had so many opportunities, they just couldn't do anything with it. So that sums up that game. So Philly wins 3-0, and they are up in the series 2-0. So next game we're going to take a look at here is once my computer starts actually operating again, is the Ottawa-Carolina game. Now, I'm going to be the first one to admit it. I said Carolina wins in 5, right? Because I thought maybe Ottawa would win 1. You cannot stand here and tell me that Ottawa is not, I won't say as it is equal to Carolina, but they are going toe to toe, okay? There is no questioning that Ottawa is giving Carolina a run for their money. And that's high praise, because Carolina owns the Eastern Conference right now. They just do, okay? The Carolina Hurricanes are undisputably the best Eastern Conference team. And they're one of the best, well-put-together teams in the NHL that have been on the cusp of Stanley Cup glory for God knows how long now and just can't get the job done. And the Ottawa Senators, the bottom seed to make the playoffs, are matching them toe for toe. In Game 2, however, the Carolina Hurricanes win 3-2 in double overtime. So again, Ottawa's giving them a run for their money. It's taking them 5 periods of hockey to put them down. It is taking them 40 extra minutes to score 1 goal. Huge credit to Ottawa's defense and goaltending that is literally keeping them in it the entire time. It's just incredible. So let's take a look at the first period. First period, Carolina does end up breaking the scoring drought first. And again, it's Logan Stankoven. This guy will not go away. This guy is staying in everybody's asses. But it's Logan Stankoven on the power play, assisted by Taylor Hall and Blake. Okay? Hall and Stankoven are literally on almost every single goal or every single play or every single successful offensive maneuver that Carolina has to offer. Stankoven is all up in people's faces. So that is his second goal of the playoffs. And the shots ended up for the first period were 9-14 for Carolina. So I won't say lopsided first period, but definitely Carolina's got the edge here. And again, Carolina does that thing where they suffocate you. They suffocate you for 60 minutes. They swarm you over and over and over and over like waves coming in off the ocean that just never let you recover fully. So kudos to Ottawa for sticking with it. Second period, we see the shots. In this case, second period's a lopsided affair. Carolina had 17 shots in the second period alone to Ottawa's 7. So at this point, the shots are 31-16 in favor of Carolina. However, in the second period, it doesn't feel that way when you look at the goals. Second period, it's Sebastian Aho which scores again. Aho, I'm going to call him asshole because let's be honest, I'm a Devils fan. He's an asshole to us, okay? Sebastian Aho, he scores his first of the playoffs, and Carolina takes a 2-0 lead. Jordan Staal gets the assist there. And then Ottawa pushes back. Despite not having as many shots, they end up scoring goals. It's Drake Batherson who scores for Ottawa. He gets his first of the playoffs, and Sanderson who gets the assist. Then Ottawa scores again, and it's Dylan Cousins, the ex-Buffalo Sabre, Coming in for Ottawa here, gets his first of the series, assisted by Greg and Sanderson again. So Sanderson, he ends up getting 2 points in the second period alone, and we go into the third period tied 2-2. So we go into this third period, and the shots in the third period are 8-5 in favor of Ottawa. So Ottawa's got a little bit of an edge here, and they're slowing down the Carolina Hurricanes, but no goals come of it. Not one. And Ottawa has plenty of opportunities. I believe it was Tim Stützle for Ottawa who missed, I think, 2 or 3 practically empty net opportunities, but just couldn't get the job done. And then we go to overtime. We go to the first overtime here, and the shots are 8-7 in favor of Ottawa. So they slow them. They compete in the first. They get outbeat. Second period, Carolina clobbers them. Third period, Ottawa holds them while still keeping up their own shots. Overtime, it's pretty even the entire time. And in the second overtime we go to, and again, the shots are 7-6 in double overtime. Again, it's super freaking even here. But it is the Carolina Hurricanes. Jordan Martinook gets his first of the playoffs, assisted by Ehlers and Keandre Miller. And it's Carolina who wins the game 3-2 in double overtime. Now again, the Ottawa Senators are now down 2-0 in the series, but you know what? They're right there with them. Carolina had 49 shots on net through the entire game, had almost 50 shots on net, only allowed 3. Ottawa had 40 shots on net. Frederik Andersen only conceded 2. This is a 2 offensive teams, which by some miracle of God are playing some of the best defensive hockey out there right now. It's been a great series. Carolina takes a 2-0 lead in that series. And we're going to move on to the next game. The next game we're going to take a look at is... No, that's the wrong direction. I need to go backwards, not forwards. Let's take a look at this Minnesota-Dallas game. Now, the first Minnesota-Dallas game, it's all Minnesota. They win something like 6-1 in the first game, and they are all over. They are all over Dallas. Second game, not so much. In this game, in Game 2 of that series, Dallas wins 4-2 in regulation. So this series is now tied 1-1. So we're all tied up in that series. Let's take a look at the first period. First period shots are looking for in this game 12-9 Minnesota over Dallas. So it's almost even, but like Minnesota's got a little bit more of an edge. And it ends up resulting in 2 goals, one for each team. You have Wyatt Johnston, which opens the scoring for the game. He gets his first assisted by Lundqvist and Bach. Bach. I'm going to say Bach. It's B-A-C-K with the 2 little dots above the A. I'm going to call him Bach for now on. And then Minnesota responds with a Brock Faber goal. By the way, if you haven't taken a look at Brock Faber's picture on NHL.com, please do. He looks like the nerdiest man the world has ever seen. He's got these, big round, glasses. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I love the nerdy look. The nerdy look is absolute fire. It's just so funny that these guys are like NHL superstars, and this man shows up looking like he's about to write a math test, okay? But Brock Faber ends up scoring, and he gets the assist from Quinn Hughes and Kaprizov. Again, you get continued production from Faber, Hughes, and Kaprizov, you're probably winning this series. Kaprizov gets his 3rd assist, Quinn Hughes gets his 2nd assist, and Brock Faber gets his first goal of the series. The game is tied 1-1 going into the second period. Now, second period, shots are 10-7, again, for Minnesota. But again, it's pretty close. Both teams are pretty close to each other. In the second period, we only get 1 goal, and it is the Dallas Stars on the power play. Matt Duchene gets his first goal of the series, assisted by Rantanen, gets his first assist, and Heiskanen gets his 2nd assist of the series. Minnesota does not push back all that much in the second period, and the second period ends with the Dallas Stars up 2-1. And now we enter the third period. Let's take a look at the shots for the third period. Shots in the third period are 8 to 16 for Dallas. So Dallas comes in the third period and they go, all right, we've had enough of this shit. We're dropping the hammer. We have the lead. We're gonna make sure we break their spirits. We are going to tame the Wild in this third period, and they do. And the score chart reflects it. Jason Robertson, he scores his second of the series, assisted by Lundqvist and Duchesne. Lundqvist getting his second assist of the series. Minnesota responds, because at this point it's 3-1 in the third period. Brock Faber, he gets his second of the game and second of the series, assisted by Eriksson Ek, who gets his second assist, and Quinn Hughes, who gets his third assist of the series. The game is now drawn 3-2. Minnesota's only down by 1, but they can't get anything going in the third period in terms of shots on net. And so the Dallas Stars, while continuing to bring the hammer down, Wyatt Johnson scores his second goal of the series and his second of the game on the power play on an empty net, assisted by, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Hrykowian? Hrykowian. Hrykowian? First of all, it's a crazy, amazing name. I love that. And Lindell, and they both get their first assists and first assists in the series. And yeah, that's a wrap. Dallas ends up tying this series up 1-1, and that basically wraps the game 4-2 for the Dallas Stars. Next up and final game from last night, we have. Why can't I click on this game? Let me click on this game, please and thank you. It is the Edmonton Oilers versus the Anaheim Ducks. Now they play their first game of the series, where everyone else has played at least one game, if not two. They come into last night getting their first game of the series, first playoff game of the year, and it is the Edmonton Oilers who come out victorious in Game 1, winning 4-3 in regulation. Now, I'm going to say it right now. I watched the first and the second periods of the game because I ended up getting home just in time. But unfortunately, 10 o'clock games don't usually end until 1 in the morning. And given the Ottawa Senators game and Carolina game, that went to double overtime. So I didn't get a chance to watch this entire game. I did get to watch the first and the second. The first period was a doozy for Anaheim. I'm gonna be completely fair. The first period was an absolute doozy for Anaheim. The shots were 14-4 in favor of Edmonton. Now you gotta remember, this is an Edmonton Oilers team that has been to the Stanley Cup Final. This is an Edmonton Oilers team that has been chiseled and sculpted by the NHL playoffs for the last couple of years now. And they have done remarkably well. And the Anaheim Ducks are a fairly young team this is their first taste of playoff hockey. And so that first period was a welcome to the big leagues, kids. And it's Edmonton who ends up getting 14 shots to 4 in the first period. But because of 14 shots in a single damn period, Edmonton ended up taking a 2-0 lead by the end of the first period. And these goals came within a minute of each other, exactly a minute. So the first goal was scored by Jason Dickinson of Edmonton, assisted by Wallman and Emberson. So they lead 1-0, and then it's Kasperi Kapanen with an absolutely beautiful patience goal. He ends up getting sprung on a breakaway, makes it to the net, takes a couple of fake little shots, fake little moves, and it's Anaheim's goaltender that bites every single time. And he basically puts the puck in on an empty net after moving from the middle to the right-hand side of the net and just dragging the puck around him and netting it. Kasperi Kapanen's goal was assisted by Draisaitl and Podkolzin. And Edmonton ended up taking the lead 2-0 in the first period. And then the second period comes in, and Anaheim, with their first period of welcome to the NHL, they sort of get their skates under them, and they follow their mediocre first period with a pretty solid and pretty great second period. They end up matching the Edmonton Oilers 13-12 in shots in the second period. So they do get their shit kicked in the first period. Then they come back and outshoot Edmonton in the second. Shots are 17-26 in favor of Edmonton, which is not great, but a second period, a big comeback. And that comeback ends up being answered with 3 goals from Anaheim. So they end up going from 2-0 at the end of the first period and scoring 3 to make it 3-2 by the end of the second period. And those goals are Troy Terry, who gets the first one, assisted by Carlson and Combe. The second goal is scored by Leo Carlson, assisted by Terry and Kreider. And then the third goal is Troy Terry again, assisted by Carlson and Granlund on the power play. So Troy Terry goes ahead and goes, "Get on my back, boys. I am pulling us out of this slump." And ends up getting 3 points in a single period. So he gets 2 goals and an assist, and it's a primary assist for him as well. Carlson ends up getting a goal and an assist in that second period, and now the Anaheim Ducks are up 3-2. Unfortunately, Edmonton, who has been chiseled and sculpted by the NHL playoffs, go, okay, it's time to answer. Third period, Anaheim gets 11 shots, Oilers get 8. So Anaheim ends up shooting them, but that doesn't seem to matter, as the third period again is an exact replica of the first period. Jason Dickinson scores the first goal of the third period, getting his second, assisted by Ekholm and Wallman. And the second goal is scored by Kasperi Kapanen, getting his second goal of the game, and the second goal of the third period, exactly the same as the first period, assisted by Podkolzin and Draisaitl, who gets his second point of the game. Now, when I was making predictions for how this series would go, I said that it would be Anaheim in 7. And you know what? First game, they do allow Draisaitl to get 2 assists, but Draisaitl doesn't score a goal. McDavid doesn't get a point. And they thrashed the Edmonton Oilers in the second period. Granted, when you go down 2-0, and great, you made a comeback, but you can't take your foot off the pedal. You can't let the Oilers get back into this. Credit to Anaheim for keeping McDavid off the board. That's probably not going to continue, because we all know that when McDavid doesn't get a point in the game, he usually comes back the next one and gets like a 3 or 4 point night. So we'll see how that happens. I did say that if Anaheim has any chance of winning this series, they have to shut down Draisaitl and McDavid. It is a little bit unfortunate for Anaheim that Draisaitl has just come back from injury. So he was injured for a bit of the regular season, and he just came back with his first game back, and he ends up getting 2 points. Stats to note here. Anaheim ended up going 50% on the power play. Edmonton Oilers had 2 chances, didn't score on either of them. Again, really heavy hitting game. Anaheim had 37 hits. Edmonton Oilers had 46 hits on the night. But yeah, Edmonton leads that 1-0. So, tonight we have the Boston Bruins versus the Buffalo Sabres, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, Kings versus Colorado, and Vegas, Utah are all going to be on tonight. I am very much looking forward to all these games. I am going to be able to watch all 3 of these games. So you guys will get a new video tomorrow reviewing the games from tonight. And then Friday, you guys will be getting a video from the games on... Oh no, sorry. Hold on. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow, you'll get a video from tonight's games. And then Thursday, you'll get a video from Wednesday night's game. And I'll try to do something for Friday. I'm really trying to do a video a day. But yeah. So, on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Those were all the games that were played last night. On that note, take it easy, and I will see you guys in a special surprise second video later on today. Adios, and I'll catch you in the next one.